As you know, we'll be talking about zakat inshallah today. And we'll be talking about the importance of zakat, talking about the way we calculate the nisab, because there are different fatawas, or two fatawas that are famous, that are available inshallah within Muslim communities. And I'll tell you why we have to go with the gold standard, why we have to calculate our zakat based on the value of the gold in the market nowadays. Before that, before we go into these numbers and these calculations, I would like to remind everyone about the importance of zakat, importance of paying the zakat. First of all, it is a pillar of Islam, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And I want you to imagine that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to build a house in Jannah. When you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you practice Islam, imagine that you are building your house in Jannah. Can you build a house that has some missing pillars? You cannot do that. The house will collapse. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not allow for something imperfect to exist in Jannah. We know that everything in Jannah is perfect. Everything in Jannah is pure. So anyway, it is one of the main obligations of Islam. It is the 3rd pillar of Islam after Shahadatain, Salat and Zakat. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always mentions Salat with Zakat together in the Quran. الَّذِينَ أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. So they go together and they are linked, strongly linked. We cannot establish a strong Muslim community without taking care of the needs of those who are less fortunate, who need our help. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us about some warnings in Surah At-Tawbah. مثلا الَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ وَلَا يُنْفِقُونَها فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَبَشِّرْهُمْ بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. He said, those who hoard gold and silver and do not spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then give them the it's not a glad tiding, the tiding of a painful torment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the believers that if you don't pay the zakat, then this is what is waiting for you on the Day of Judgment. And this is part of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to clarify these issues to the believers. So they know what is waiting for them on the Day of Judgment if they do not fulfill their obligations. And then he said, يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمْ فَتُكْوَى بِهَا جِبَاهُهُمْ وَجُنُوبُهُمْ وَظُهُورُهُمْ هَذَا مَا كَنَزْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ فَذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْنِزُونَ. So he said, on the day when this wealth will be heated in the fire of hell, and then their foreheads, their sides and their backs, it's very clear here, very detailed, very graphic, right? Foreheads and backs and their sides and their back will be branded with it or burned with it. And then it will be said to them, this is the treasure which you hoarded for yourselves. So taste what you used to hoard. This is in Surah At-Tawbah, ayat 34 to 35. The 2 verses of 34, 35 in Surah At-Tawbah. Rasulullah ﷺ confirmed this meaning. He said, مَا مِن صَاحِبِ فِضَّةٍ وَلَا ذَهَبْ لَا يُؤَدِّي زَكَاتَهَا أو حقها إلا يوم القيامة صفحت له صفائح من نار. So he said there is no owner of gold and silver, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions gold and silver, the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, same thing, but that was their currency at that time. They used to use golden dinars and silver coins. الذهب والفضة, usually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about money here. There are other types of properties, other types of wealth. We will mention some of them. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about accumulating wealth and not paying zakat. And the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is confirming, as I said, the meaning of these 2 ayat. He said there is no owner of gold and silver who does not pay its due, except that there will be plates, made for him, of fire made for him on the Day of Judgment. And then his forehead and his sides and his back will be burned with them. كُلَّمَا بَرَدَتْ, Rasulullah ﷺ said, أُعِيدَتْ لَهُ. Every time they cool down, the process is repeated again and again during a time of a day which is equivalent to 50,000 years, until judgment is pronounced among the servants. And then he will see whether his path will lead him to Jannah or it will lead him to hellfire. This is a dalil that the one who is Muslim and he says the shahadatain and he prays, he offers the 5 daily prayers, but he does not pay zakat, is not kafir. If he believes that zakat is an obligation. But if he denies the obligation of zakat, if he doesn't believe that zakat is an obligation, he becomes kafir. And by the way, this is not a form of extremism. We know that people are, making takfir on other people nowadays. We don't agree with this methodology. We don't agree with Muslims who label other Muslims with takfir with no valid reason. But this is a basic knowledge. This is a basic knowledge of Islam. If you ask any student, first year student in any Islamic university, you tell him someone is denying that salat is an obligation. This is basic knowledge, he becomes kafir, even if he was born Muslim. If he denies the obligation of fasting in Ramadan, he becomes kafir. This is basic knowledge. But there are other type of people who would label other Muslims with takfir without a valid reason. Then this is another problem. It's a form of extremism, and we don't agree with that. We don't agree with this behavior. But here we're talking, as I said, this is part of our basic knowledge in Islam. And we know if someone says zakat is not an obligation, he's denying a basic knowledge that is found in the Quran. It is found in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So basically he's saying, I don't believe in these ayat that are talking about zakat or a hadith that are talking about zakat. I'm saying this because there are some people who don't feel good whenever they hear someone talking about takfir or kufr. Yes, you have to be careful, I agree with you. When we talk about takfir or kufr or disbelief, we have to be careful. But this is, as I said, this is something that is known and well established in our deen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about kanz. Kanz is accumulated wealth. So the ulama basically said any wealth, it's not haram to accumulate gold and silver, by the way. It's not haram to accumulate wealth. But they said any wealth, that zakat is due on it, and it has not been paid, then it is kanz, based on the Quranic term. And the person, the owner of this kanz, will be taken to account on the Day of Judgment. But if zakat is paid, then it is not kanz. It is not kanz. And even if he owns billions of dollars, as long as he is paying zakat, then this is not kanz, and he will not be blamed for being wealthy on the Day of Judgment. You will not be blamed for being wealthy. You will be blamed for not paying zakat. So this is really important, ya ikhwan. What is the wisdom of zakat? When zakat is paid, ya ikhwan, there are individuals and communities will benefit from it. And who are the individuals? There are two types of people: the zakat payer and the one who receives the zakat. The zakat payer will have his heart purified from greed, from stinginess, from love for this dunya. So his heart will be purified. His wealth will be purified. Because when we do business, we might conceal some uyub, some defects. We might give the wrong information to the client. We might delay the delivery of our merchandise. We might do things. If you are an employee, you might go late to your work. You might have some shortcomings in your interactions with the clients or the customers. So there are some problems with your wealth. When you are paying zakat, inshallah, your wealth will be purified. Hopefully you will not be taken to account for these shortcomings. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Especially if you increase, you add to that, some charity, voluntary charity. Inshallah, all of this will be purification to your wealth. And also it is a growth. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, it will cause your wealth to grow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the hadith Qudusi, not an ayah, Ibn Adam, anfiq alayk. This is a promise from Allah. O son of Adam, Hadith Qudusi, O son of Adam, spend, and we will spend on you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is more generous than every human being on earth. Okay? And we know that the rewards of every good deed is from 10. Every good deed is multiplied from 10 to 700. And there are people who has seen it in this life before the Day of Judgment. They gave something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Within 24 hours, they got a gift, multiplied, the same amount multiplied by 10. Wallahi, this is something that happened to some people. They have seen it. They were not expecting this money coming to them. But they gave for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they were rewarded in this dunya. And this is a way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does it this way to send a message to the believers that this is what I promised, and you see it. But we, of course, what we are waiting for, what we are expecting, what we want is the reward on the Day of Judgment. But if you get something in this dunya, alhamdulillah, it's beautiful. So now we got these meanings from the linguistic meaning of zakat. Because we know the linguistic meaning of the zakat, the word zakat in Arabic, it means an-nama, increase and growth. It means tahara, which is purification. It means barakah, which is blessing. So all these meanings, we got them from the linguistic meaning of the word zakat. But there are some ayat that confirm these meanings. Mathalan, in Surah At-Tawbah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, addressed the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ. Take, O Muhammad, take sadaqat, which is here, zakat. There is an agreement between all the scholars. The word sadaqah here means the zakat, the obligatory zakat. So take, zakat from their wealth. تُطَهِّرُهُمْ, so you can purify them with this zakat. وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا, and then you sanctify them. وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ, invoke Allah's blessings upon them. Verily your salat, your invocations for them are a source of security for them. سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ, source of tranquility, a source of security. So it is all about security, about tranquility, about purification, about growth, about an increase. It is not a burden. Zakat is not a burden, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Now this ayah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking to the Messenger of Allah, telling him, khudh, take. Does it mean that he will take the zakat and put it in his pocket? It was haram for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to benefit from zakat money. And all his family members are not supposed to take from zakat. All Banu Hashim and Banu al-Muttalib. Not Banu Abdul Muttalib, Banu al-Muttalib, who was the brother of Hashim. They were brothers. And Hashim was the Abdul Muttalib was the immediate grandfather of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but Abdul Muttalib was the son of Hashim, who passed away in Gaza in 497, wallahu ta'ala a'lam, in the Common Era. So here the family of Hashim, the family of Al-Muttalib, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his immediate family members, all of them were not allowed to take from zakat. But as Rasulullah ﷺ told Mu'adh ibn Jabal, when he sent him to Yemen, he told him that you need to call people to Tawheed, number one. He was sending Mu'adh to Yemen to invite people to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Call them to Tawheed, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reject all the other idols and deities. And then if they believe in that, call them to, invite them to establish the 5 daily prayers, second step. And then he said, if they start establishing the prayer, then let them know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِنَّ اللَّهَ افْتَرَضَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَدَقَةً فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ تُؤْخَذُ مِنْ أَغْنِيَائِهِمْ وَتُرَدُّ عَلَى فُقَرَائِهِمْ. So let them know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, imposed upon them an obligation on their wealth. A sadaqah, a zakat that should be taken from their wealthy, distributed among the poor. So the hakim or the governor has no right to take from this zakat. It is to be taken from the wealthy people and distributed among the poor. Wallahu ta'ala alam. So this is the first person who will benefit from zakat, is the zakat payer, the one who pays the zakat. The second one, who received the zakat, will feel good about the rest of the members of the community. His heart will be cleansed, inshallah, from grudges, from ill feelings, from destructive jealousy. He will have good relationship with the rest of the community members. And he will feel that, he has brothers in this community who are helping, who are, they are not greedy, they are not selfish. So the zakat, the one who received the zakat will have good feeling. Will feel good about the rest of the community. Wallahu ta'ala. Number 3, they said it reinforces the social fabric, and it maintains the power of the Islamic brotherhood. And it will help into building, inshallah, strong and stable communities. Because people will be united, as I said, and they will feel good about each other, and they will treat each other with respect. The wealthy will be respected because they are doing their job, they are fulfilling their obligations. And the poor and the needy are taken care of. Wallahu ta'ala. Now, how do we manage our zakat payment? Number 1, that we need to, the most important thing that we need to pay attention to when giving zakat is the intention. I'm not talking about ikhlas here. That's a different topic. Ikhlas, sincerity, being sincere when giving zakat. Of course you need to be sincere. Of course you have to do everything with sincerity, with ikhlas. Seeking the reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not seeking any reward from the people who will receive the zakat or the community members or the leadership of the community. You are doing things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the zakat, the niyyah of zakat. When you give $100, are you giving it out as a zakat or a charity? You have to know what you are doing. You have to distinguish between the two. There are 2 famous cases that usually happen in the community. The first case is when a person gives a loan to someone. $1,000 to brother Muhammad, right? Muhammad. $1,000. And then after 1 year, Muhammad was not able to pay me back. Tell him, Muhammad, okay, don't worry about it. I will include it in my zakat payment. It doesn't work this way. Because when I gave him the 1,000, I gave him the 1,000 as a loan. I did not give it as a zakat. So I cannot do that. So I cannot change my intention in the process and say, oh, you're not able to pay, don't worry about it. No, I'm not going to take it. And then I just include it in my zakat. And I don't pay 1,000. I'm supposed to pay 1,000 this Ramadan. I already gave a loan to Muhammad. I don't have to pay. No, this is wrong. You cannot do it this way. The second issue, famous case in our community, there are brothers who give sadaqat, charity, to different parties, different people throughout the year. And some of them are self-employed. They are business people. They have inventories, they have merchandise to calculate and everything. And I said, I don't have to calculate anything. I keep giving sadaqat throughout the year. But akhi, did you give this sadaqat with the intention of a regular sadaqah or with the intention of paying zakat? It's okay if you do it. If you pay zakat in advance. If you pay your zakat on monthly payments, monthly installments, that's okay, that's fine. But you have to have the intention of paying the zakat, and at the end of the year, if you are a businessman, you need to do your math, you do your calculation. Because maybe you paid only, throughout the year you paid only $600, at the end of the year, you are supposed to pay like $1,000. So if you say, oh, I pay $600, I don't have to calculate anything. No, ya akhi. You have to know, you do your homework. You have to calculate your wealth. Maybe you are supposed to pay $1,000 at the end of the year. Then you will be short with 4,000. We'll give you at the end, inshallah, maybe half an hour for Q&As, inshallah. Just remember the question. So this is really important, that you do your calculations at the end of the year. But it's okay to pay your zakat in advance. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Now the nisab. The nisab is the amount a Muslim's net worth must exceed for them to be obligated to pay the zakat. This is the nisab. So the number 1 is, you pay attention to your, what? Intention, your niyyah. And number 2, you have to know how to calculate the zakat, the nisab. So the nisab, at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, was very simple. So this is one of the important zakat terms. You have to know the minimum amount of wealth that you have. It makes you, obligated to pay the zakat. At the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, they used to, Rasulullah ﷺ told them you have to have 20 dinars for gold. If we talk about gold, and I said their currency was made of gold, the first type of currency. So they have to have 20 dinars, and this is the nisab. If it stays with the person for 1 year, then he is supposed to pay half of a dinar. If he has more, then 2.5%. Following the Islamic calendar. If we follow the solar calendar, we have a different number. Unfortunately, we forget sometimes to mention this different number, but we'll talk about it today, inshallah. Slightly different. Not big difference. There is no big difference. And their second currency was made of silver. Dirhams made of silver. So they have to have 200 dirhams. And they pay 5 dirhams on this, of course, on this 200. Otherwise, if they have more, then they have to pay 2.5%. Okay? And for example, if we look at sheep, you have to have the nisab for sheep, 40 sheep. If you have 40, you pay zakat 1 sheep. You give it out as a zakat. And 1 sheep, the price of 1 sheep at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ was the average between half a dinar to 1 dinar. One Sahabi used to help Rasulullah ﷺ, I think Urwa al-Bariqi radiyallahu anhu. Rasulullah ﷺ gave him one time 1 dinar. He said, go to the market and bring me a sheep. Buy 1 sheep for me. So he went to the marketplace and he got 1 sheep for 1 dinar. And then, he didn't get 1 sheep, he got 2. He found them very cheap, so he got 2. Rasulullah ﷺ told him to bring 1, but he said, I can get 2 with 1 dinar, so he got 2. And then he was going back to Rasulullah ﷺ to give him his 2 sheep. Then he met someone, and he said, okay, are you willing to I need 1 sheep. Are you willing to sell me 1 sheep? He said, it's okay. He's wakil now, doing business on behalf of Rasulullah ﷺ. So he sold him 1 sheep, that's one of them, for 1 dinar. He bought them for each one for half a dinar. He sold the second one, or one of them, for 1 dinar. So he went back to Rasulullah ﷺ with 1 dinar, the same money that he got from Rasulullah ﷺ, and 1 sheep. So Rasulullah ﷺ was amazed. He said, how did you do it? And he told him about his story. So Rasulullah ﷺ he made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for him. Allahumma barik lahu fi safaqati yaminih. Oh Allah, bless his business transactions. That was a dua made by Rasulullah ﷺ to this man. And what did he say after that? He moved from Medina to Al-Kufa, Iraq. And he said, I used to go to the marketplace and make sometimes 40,000, I don't know, dirhams or dinars. Dinars, that would be a huge amount of money. He said 40,000 before going back to my family. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed his business transactions. But the point here is, the 1 sheep at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ was half a dinar or 1 dinar. Okay? So now, this is very simple, very easy, and they didn't have to go to the website and check the price of gold. Now we don't have dinars and we don't have dirhams. We have paper money. How do we calculate now our zakat? Usually they said, we don't care here about sheep, we don't talk about sheep, but we need this information later on. That was their money at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, gold and silver. That was their money. So we need to calculate our money now. And now we use paper money. So some ulama, they said, that you have to look at the price of gold and the price of silver, and then when your nisab reaches one of them, you know, the nisab for 20 dinars in grams is 85 grams of gold. 85 grams of pure gold. Because 1 dinar is 4 grams, 0.25. 1 dinar is 4 grams, 0.25. 20 by 4.25, the total would be 85 grams of pure gold. And the nisab for silver is 595 grams of pure silver. Now they said the ulama, the majority, which I don't agree with, this is the first time, I mean, not the first time, but it's rare when I go against the opinion of majority, but I'll tell you their argument and the argument of the other scholars. They said you look at the price of the gold and you look at the price of silver, and if your nisab reaches one of them, then you have to start paying zakat. So yesterday I checked the price in the website. It's called the price or goldprice.org, and the 1 gram of gold was 46.18 Canadian dollars. 46.18. That was the price yesterday for 1 gram of gold. So multiplied by 85, I got 3,925.3 Canadian dollars. So this is the nisab for gold. 3,925. That's why I usually tell people in 2013, 2004, it is between 3,500 and 4,000. I checked the chart of 5 years, it went within 5 years to up to 5,000. But within these 2 years, 2013, 2014, it is between 3,500 to 4,000. To be in the safe side, you go with 3,500 because the price is fluctuating, going up and down. So this is the price of the nisab, the money that you have to have as of yesterday before you become, obligated to pay the zakat. But there is a big difference between gold and silver. At the time of Rasulullah ﷺ it was the same. 1 dinar, the exchange rate at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ was 1 dinar equal to 10 dirhams in the market. It might go a little bit up to 11 dirhams, a little bit down to 9 dirhams sometimes, but the average at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ was 1 dinar equal in the market to 10 dirhams. It was exactly the same. So they had no issues, no problems. And the value of these 40 sheep, as I said, it was almost the same as 20 dinars. Okay? Now let's go to silver. Silver, we said, what is the nisab of silver? How many grams? 595 grams. So yesterday, as of yesterday, silver was 1 gram of silver was 0.73915 Canadian dollars, of course. And the total is 400, because I have to multiply this by this, right? 440. If someone has $500 in his account and he has a family, he's a poor or wealthy? 500. Maybe it's not enough to pay your rent. It's not enough to pay maybe your monthly expenses. So this is the first argument of the scholars who said we have to go with gold standard. We don't go with silver. They said because the one who has, sometimes if there is a big disparity, big difference between the prices of gold and silver, then if we go with the silver, standard, poor people will be paying zakat. This is the first argument. The second argument, they said it is more stable. It is more stable. The price of gold is more stable. And I'll tell you about something amazing. Something amazing about the prices of sheep at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ and their prices nowadays. Nowadays. In Canada. Not talking about Saudi Arabia or Middle East, but in Canada. So what is how many grams in 1 dinar? Naam? How many grams of gold in 1 dinar? 425. Okay, could you do your math? How much is one dinar? You said 46.18, right? Yesterday, as of yesterday. How much? It's almost $200, right? 196? 196 Canadian dollars, right? Yes. So we said, but the sheep at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ could be sold for half a dinar, which is 2.125, right? Right? 2.125. Multiplied by 46? 98, 99. Let's say 99. Huh? This is the range of prices of sheep nowadays in Canada. In last Eid, we bought them for $125. Some people bought them for $200. The same price at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ 1400 years ago. Now same prices of sheep, these animals in Canada. Now if we go with the silver, how many sheep here you can buy? 440. How many sheep? Can you afford 3? Maybe 2 or 3, right? But at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, you need to have 40 sheep before you can give 1 sheep out. And the value of gold is similar to the value of sheep in Canada, for example. So you see now the argument of those scholars who said that we have to go with gold standard. Those who said we go with silver, their main argument is beneficial for the fuqara, the poor and the needy. Because if you have 1,000, you pay 25, so someone will benefit from it. 1,000, you don't have, based on the price of gold, you don't have the nisab. But based on the price of silver, you have the nisab, right? 1,000, if you have 1,000 in your account. So you're going to pay $25 to the poor and the needy. But still, with 1,000, if you have a family, or you are single, and you are paying your rent for $500, let's say you are single. You're paying your rent for $500 maybe, or $600. And you have only $400 left for your food and transportation and other expenses. So you are a poor person, you are not a wealthy person. But 4,000, you are okay. You are not wealthy, but you are definitely better than someone who has 440 or 500 or 1,000. So I'm really confident about gold standard. Really confident. But the majority of contemporary scholars are saying go with silver. It's more beneficial to the poor. I mean, there is a huge difference between the two prices, and it doesn't make sense. So is this matter clear? If you have a question, we'll deal with it later on, inshallah. طيب. Now, how do we calculate our zakat? By the way, there's something that you need to pay attention to. We said the nisab. What is the nisab these days? Based on the gold standard? 3,500 to? Yes, yesterday it was 3,900, yes. But I am saying this is my ijtihad. Take it or leave it. My ijtihad to make it simple. Make it simple. It's between 3,000, you don't have to go to the internet all the time. Between 3,500 to 4,000. Unless you know that the price of gold is going crazy. Then you go and double check. Right? But these days, 2013, 2014 is going up and down within this range. To be in the safe side, make it 3,500. You know what I mean? It will be beneficial to the poor. But it's up to you how you manage your zakat. This is my suggestion. Now, if we use the Islamic calendar, if like most people nowadays they pay zakat in Ramadan, so Islamic calendar, they pay only 2.5%. If someone is using the solar calendar, like paying his zakat in December before doing taxes and everything, there are people who prefer this. They have to pay 2.577. I want you to know this. If you are using a solar calendar, you need to pay this, 2.577. I don't want to say 2.6 because it's zakat. But this is the exact number that you need to pay if you are using the solar calendar. After 1 year has passed, you have the nisab, you pay this or this. It depends on the way you calculate your zakat. Your deadlines. طيب, now, how do we calculate our zakat? Let's talk about loans, because there are issues that we need to clarify before we talk about the final calculation. Let's talk about loans. If you are the lender, you are not the borrower. If you are the borrower, we call them debts. For the sake of clarification, or for the sake of making it easy for people to distinguish between two things. Loans, if you gave them out. If you take a loan, we'll call it debt, a debt obligation. Now, there are differences between scholars, because there are no ayat or ahadith that clarify the issue of loans and debts at the time of paying zakat. But the opinion that I will tell you now is the opinion of the Muslim Fiqh Council that is affiliated with OIC, Organization of Islamic Countries. And we have two Muslim Fiqh Councils in the Islamic world. And they are the highest authority in the Muslim world. All people, ulama, professors, students of knowledge, imams who respect themselves and they look for authentic sources of knowledge, they respect their decisions. Because they are collective, the outcome of collective ijtihad. Scholars come together from different countries, from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from Syria, from Pakistan, from India, from different parts of the world. They get together in different countries. Every 3 months, 4 months, they meet in one Muslim country. You get sometimes 200 scholars there. If they are dealing with financial issues, they invite people who are specialized in the industry of finance. If they are dealing with medical issues, they invite doctors, medical doctors. And then they stay for 3 days, 4 days studying those issues. Issues that are, well known in the community, or there are sometimes organizations that will send them questions, difficult questions. مثلا ISC or MCC will send a difficult question to this, something that we couldn't solve here in Calgary. Would send the question to these Muslim Fiqh Councils, and then after, it's up to them if they want to include it in their agenda. If they include it, then they will deal with it within that meeting for 3 days, 4 days, and they come up with decisions that are now well respected by all students of knowledge. People who know the right sources of knowledge. So we have two, and the third party is the scholars of Supreme Court of Pakistan. These are three parties that are, they're qualified to give fatwas and deal with difficult issues in the Muslim world. So their decision about loans that you gave to other people, they said the one who gave a loan is the inherent, owner of this wealth. And thus he is liable to pay its zakat every year if, there is if here. You gave a loan, you are the owner of this loan, this money, you gave it to someone else. You pay its zakat, you include it in the calculation. I gave you 1,000. It's not in my hand, right? But at the time of the calculation, I should include it, add it to my wealth. Because I am the owner of this 1,000. If I am absolutely confident that, what's your name? Najib? That Najib will pay me back. He's doing well, and he's not denying the loan. doing well, he has a good income, and he is not denying the loan. Two conditions. So I am absolutely confident that Najib will pay me back this 1,000. Even if he stays with him for 2 years or 3 years, I have to include it in my calculation. It was my choice to give Najib a loan for 1,000. It is my choice. I am looking for a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for hasanat. This is an act of worship. Giving loans to other people. Qard hasan. You help them. So it's my choice. I'm not able to use this money, but I gave it to him, and I'm absolutely confident that Najib will pay me back. So I should include it, add it to my wealth. This is clear, ya ikhwan? And this will call them good loans. This, for the term of clarification, for the sake of clarification, we call them good loans. Good loans. And the second case is, if you gave a loan to someone, you are not confident if he will pay you back or not. Either due to his bankruptcy, number one, or his denial of the loan. He's denying the loan. So he's a bankrupt, you know he's bankrupt. It's very difficult for him to pay you back, and you lost hope in this money. You don't include it. You do not add it to your wealth when you calculate your zakat. Or he's not bankrupt, but he's denying. He said, I didn't take anything from you. So what happened if after 10 years he makes tawbah? And he said, Brother Najib, I'm sorry. Now I start praying and fasting, and I need to correct my relationship, strengthen my relationship with Allah. Yes, I took a loan from you. Your money after 10 years. There are two things here. The Muslim Fiqh Council, which is an authority, good source of knowledge, they say you don't pay zakat immediately on it. You add it to your wealth, and when times for zakat payment comes, you pay zakat for it. When your deadline comes for your zakat payment, you pay zakat for it. And there are some scholars who said it's better to pay zakat for 1 year. Just 1 year immediately for this money. And then you keep it with your savings, and you keep paying zakat for it every year. To be in the safe side, if you want to pay immediately zakat for it, do it. If you want to leave it, you don't pay zakat immediately for it, you just leave it with your savings, and you pay at the time of your deadline, that's okay, that's fine, because this is the decision of a well-respected fiqh council. Is that clear? Huh? Okay. Now, how do you calculate your zakat? If you are an employee, and you are not a business person, you are not self-employed. So, the ulama, they said you have to calculate cash in hand, or in the bank account, plus value, but you need to pay attention to this, I will explain it. Value of your shares, you use the market price. Shares in the stock market. But here, you need to pay attention. If you are a speculator, you know what does speculator mean? Okay, a speculator is not an investor. Someone who buys shares, like he is a day trader. Is he an investor or a speculator? A day trader. Someone who buys and sells shares on a daily basis. He's a speculator. He's playing with the prices. He's not an investor. An investor is someone who buys shares with the intention of holding them for a long-term dividend returns. So you buy shares in the company, you don't care about the prices, just leave them in this with your broker or in your portfolio, in your account, with the intention of what? Collecting dividends from the company. So here you don't include the value if you are an investor. Just for the sake of clarification. If you are an investor, you don't include them. If you are a speculator, they are like urud al-tijara, items for sale, merchandise. And this ruling of urud al-tijara, items for sale, is well established in Sharia. So the ulama made qiyas with urud al-tijara, something you buy with the intention of selling it again. So if you are a speculator, is that clear now? Buying shares with the intention of selling them, the prices go up, after 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, or on the same day. You add the value, the whole value of your shares. And you add good loans. You know what are good loans now? Huh? Okay, that's good. This will make it easy for everyone, inshallah, too. And then now here you subscribe, you don't minus here, you don't add. Short term loans. The total, you pay, as I said, 2.5 using lunar calendar, 2.577 solar calendar.
Short-term debts?
Nah?
Short-term debts?
Short-term, debts, yeah. Jazakallah khair. Because we said we're going to distinguish between, So debts, the money that you owe other people, you owe them, you have to pay them. So you are a debtor here, you are a borrower. Here you are a lender. So good loans minus short-term debts. So what are short-term debts? For example, I'll give you an example. مثلا, you owe Muhammad 1,000 and you agree with him that you'll pay him in August, or for example. And you'll be paying in July, you'll be paying your zakat. So it's okay to deduct this 1,000 from the value of your wealth. You don't pay zakat for it, because you'll be paying him within a month this 1,000. How about long-term mortgages and loans? Say someone took a mortgage for 25 years. The ulama, they said you deduct the value of 12 payments. 12 payments. Let's say you are paying the bank $800 every month. 8 by 12, how much? 8,000? 9,600, right? 9,600. You deduct it from your wealth. Because for that year you will be paying this money for the bank. It's a mortgage. It's not a rental payment. Rental is different. Rental payment is your expenses. They are monthly expenses. But this is a loan that you took from the bank, which is haram if it is Sharia compliant, but just to let you know. You are allowed to deduct it. Okay? For the payment of 12 months. But you don't deduct the payment of 25 years. You will never pay zakat. You will never go to Hajj. So this is clear, inshallah. Okay, how about if you are a self-employed, let's say self-employed, right? Okay, you have a business. So cash in hand or in your bank account plus the value of your shares. As I said, shares here I mean stock market, and if you are speculator. If you are an investor, what do you pay zakat for? You don't pay zakat on the value of the shares if you are an investor? Dividends, yes. Whatever you collect as dividends, you include them to your savings and you pay zakat for them. You don't pay zakat on the value of the shares if you are an investor. And plus did we say good loans? I don't know. Okay, and inventory. minus short-term loans. Sorry, Jazakumullah khair. Total, and you follow the same formula, 2.5 or 2.577. Now, inventory. Let's deal with inventory. For those who have small businesses, you have to list everything that is for sale, that is ready for sale. But let's say you have a bakery and you make bread. Use flour, oil, and some other items. You add them. You make cakes, you make bread, you make different stuff, right? Okay, anything that would go into the making of this bread or cakes, it has to be counted, listed in the inventory. How about if you have oil that is used to operate your machines? You don't include it. The value of the machines, the machines that you have in the bakery, don't include them. You don't pay zakat for these things. Naam? You don't pay zakat for fuel. Fuel, they are not going to sell it. You include all the ingredients that you will use in the making of this product. Is it clear? All the ingredients that you will use in the making of this product. You include them. How about packaging items? Do you include them? No, you include them only if they add to the value of the product. If you are including their value in the price of the product, then you include them. Include them in the inventory. When you calculate, you have like this boxes of packages, bags or something. If they are expensive, you're including their value in the product itself. But if they are cheap and you are not like one bag for 5 cents, and you are not including their value in the price of the final product, then you don't include them. Do you have any question here? Sisters, feel free. If you have a question, you can. We don't have another. You can write them down or. Yeah.
What about like with my work? They put savings. They take some of the pay and then they put it in a saving fund. So when I retire,
Pardon?
For savings, like work savings, did you claim after you retire? RSP.
Oh, we'll talk about it here. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
On the inventory, do you put the price of the inventory, how much you bought them or how much it is?
Market price. Yeah. Market price, yeah. Not the... طيب. Now, if you have RSP, yani pension plans, so this is clear now. In the beginning I said I'm not going to take questions, and then I start asking you questions. I think some brothers felt offended. Those who I told them, I'll leave the questions at the end. That's okay, we're humans, we forget. طيب. How about pension plans? So we usually have RSP and we have RPP. RSP is registered retirement saving plan, and this is registered pension plan. Okay, RESP, yeah, for children. Yeah, it's the same, I think. It's called registered education saving plan. The same thing, yeah, for children. So the basic idea, for you to pay zakat on your money, you have to have full ownership of your money. Now the RSPs, there are two types of RSPs: regular RSP, and there is locked in RSPs. In locked-in RSPs, you are not allowed to take any money. Your money is locked in. So you don't have to pay zakat on this money. You don't have to pay. Registered pension plan, also your money is locked in. The government will not allow you to take money from this account. You don't pay zakat on this. Now how about regular RSPs? Regular RSPs, they allow you to take money, but they will charge you taxes and they will charge you some penalties. They go up to 40%. So if let's say you took from your regular RSP 1,000, you know that they are taking away from you 40%, right? So this is not your money. So you pay zakat on, even if you don't take them out, they're still in the account. If it is a regular RSP, you pay zakat on 60%. 60% of what is left, of what is in the account, not left. Let's say you have 100,000 in regular RSP, you pay zakat on 60,000. You don't pay zakat on 40,000, because if you take this money, you are able to take it here in this case, you have the right to take it out, they will deduct from you 40%. 40% is not your money, you pay only on zakat on. Locked in, you don't pay zakat. Because you could die before you benefit from this money. You don't own it. I mean, your ownership is not complete. And you will be allowed to benefit from it when you retire at the age of 65. So at that time you start getting these payments, then you start paying zakat for these payments. RSP you don't have to, because you are not allowed to take money. RSP for children, you are not allowed to take this money. Your children are not allowed to take this money until they reach the age of 18. So when they reach the age of 18, they have to pay zakat after they take this money. They pay zakat. But now, you don't pay zakat on this money. Now, are children supposed to pay zakat on their wealth or not? Nah. Yes, children they are. They are not mukallaf, but they are, because it is a right that is imposed on wealth, not on the person. How about an insane person? Someone who is mentally ill and he is wealthy. Is he supposed to pay zakat or not? Yes, because his guardian or his father or Allah has to pay zakat from his wealth, because it is a right that is imposed on the wealth, not on the person. He's not obligated to pray or to fast because he's an insane person, but he's wealthy. So it is a right imposed on the wealth. They have to pay. But here in this case, they have no control. Their ownership is not complete. So they cannot pay zakat, or they are not supposed to. And they are not supposed to pay here because this is locked in money. And here it depends. You have to find out if it is regular or... So if it is regular, you add 60%, the value of 60% of your money in that RSP, you add it to your... we just respect the first rule, inshallah. We'll just go with the first rule. We'll leave the questions later on. Okay. Of course, you need to, this information, get it from an accountant. Yes, this is a very good point. The brother is saying, the 40% that I mentioned, this is the numbers I got from brothers, different brothers. That they take around 40% if you withdraw money right away. Okay? Now if you retire, the taxes will be less for sure, maybe 10% or something, or less. Now if you know yourself that you withdraw money from your account and you don't pay anything, if you withdraw money, then you have to pay zakat on the whole amount. Okay? So this is something that you need to verify with your accountant. This brother is saying there could be some other situations with RSP accounts. So my answer is verify with your accountant. I'm not an accountant, I'm just telling you what I got, the feedback that I got from some brothers. They said if you withdraw money from regular accounts, regular RSP accounts, they will take 40% away. This is the information I got from a couple of brothers. Now those who deserve the zakat, those who deserve the zakat, Okay, number one, al-fuqara. Who are al-fuqara? Naam? Poor. The second one, al-masakin. And we will call them needy. Okay, and number three, al-amiluna alayha. These categories are found in which ayah? In which surah? Naam? Surah Al-Baqarah? No. These categories, 8 categories, are found in which ayah? Surah At-Tawbah. Which ayah? The number of the ayah? 60. Yes, ayah 60 in Surah At-Tawbah. Al-amiluna alayha, employed by the government to collect the zakat. By the government to collect okay, these are employed by the government. So we'll talk about those who are employed in relief organizations. I don't believe they deserve, because they are taking their salaries from these organizations. I don't believe they should be given their salaries from zakat, because they are not only collecting zakat. They're collecting other the charities, and they are dealing with other issues. But those at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, their only job duty is to go around, go to other cities and towns and collect zakat from Muslims. This is their job. So their salary comes from zakat. We don't have them nowadays. Wallahu ta'ala alam. So, and then the mu'allafati qulubuhum. Mu'allafati qulubuhum, there are 2 types of people. Those who just accepted Islam, especially if they are leaders, because their leaders will affect other people, influence other people. So they should be given from zakat, or they're not leaders, but we want to give them a gift, help them, show them that we care about them, especially if they are in need. If they are in need, they might go into this, first category or second. But you can give them, even if they are not in need, you can give them. They are mu'allafati qulubuhum, those who accepted Islam. And the second type, those who are not Muslims, but they are inclined towards accepting Islam. So you can give them a gift from zakat money to attract them to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to help them, save them from hellfire. You don't do it for the sake of earning their votes or to save them from hellfire. Number 5, fi riqab. Who are al-riqab? They are captives or slaves. Captives or slaves. Captives of war or slaves. How about a Muslim who is in jail? He committed a crime. Okay? If he is a good Muslim, by mistake he committed a crime or killed someone by mistake as an accident, car accident, and he's a good Muslim, should help him. Pay from the zakat and getting him out from jail. How about if he's a criminal? He's a very bad person. Yes, he's Muslim, but he's a criminal. Don't help him from zakat, because he will go out and commit another crime. Number 6, those in debt. So it has to be halal debt. Number 1. If it is not halal debt, if it is a haram mortgage or haram, if they are making tawbah and they are trying to correct their financial, fix their financial affairs, issues, you can help them with your zakat. If you are sure, a family member or a friend, he's making tawbah, he wants to leave this mortgage or these business interest-based transactions, it's okay to give them from the zakat, because you are sure about their intention and you are helping them to speed up the process of repentance and tawbah, getting rid of this business, haram business transactions. So those in debt. And here I want you as Muslims to think about students, our students. Include them in your zakat payments if possible. Students who are taking student loans. Our students who are going to university. Many of them are in a desperate situation. He cannot get married. Many of them are not able to find a job after graduating. It's not easy. We have a good market here. The job market is good, but it's not easy for everyone. They usually ask you for experience. So they end up with 30,000 sometimes student loans, 30,000, 35,000, 25,000. And even a father is not supposed to give his children. But in this case, as a father, you are allowed to give your son from your zakat to help him pay his student loans. In this case, you don't give him as a needy or a poor, because if your son is in need, you have to spend on him. You cannot give zakat to your children. You cannot give zakat to your parents. If they are in need, you have to pay for their expenses. You cannot give zakat to your grandparents. So and it goes up and it goes down. Your children or grandchildren, you cannot give them zakat. If they are in need, you have to. It's an obligation to spend on them. Number 7, fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah. In the classical scholars, majority of classical scholars, not all of them, majority. Classical scholars, they said this is only two types of people. Jihad fi sabilillah, or students, Sharia students of Sharia knowledge. If they are dedicating their life to seeking knowledge and they travel to other cities and they need some expenses, you are allowed to give them. Now, it is the decision of the Muslim Fiqh Council, not the first one, the second one, that is affiliated with Rabitat al-Alam al-Islami, the Muslim World League. They made a decision that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted jihad fi sabilillah, He would have said jihad fi sabilillah. Fi sabilillah, anything that would promote Islam, da'wah, masajid, Islamic schools, Quranic schools, printing books, masahifs, anything that would help the cause of da'wah, it is fi sabilillah. And it is the decision, as I said, of the Muslim Fiqh Council affiliated with Rabitat al-Alam al-Islami. It's a well-respected authority in the Muslim world. That's why here in ISC we accept zakat for the masjid and da'wah based on this fatwa and this decision. Wallahu ta'ala alam. So majority of classical scholars, they had a different opinion. Now majority of contemporary scholars, they said there are many Muslim organizations in the West and some Muslim countries, they don't get help from governments. Because Muslim government is supposed to take care of masajid and take care of this da'wah organization. A Muslim government. But now we don't have these things. Here in the West, Canadian government will not give us money. So they said it is okay to give your zakat to build masajid and to da'wah organizations and help and support da'wah programs. Number 7, right? Number 8, Ibn Sabil. Who is Ibn Sabil? Who is Ibn Sabil? Yeah, a stranded traveler. Someone who was locked somewhere and he doesn't have money. He could be wealthy in his country. But he was traveling to another country, far away from his country, and he lost his money and he cannot go back to his country. Is it possible nowadays? For this case to happen? I don't think so, right? Because if you are wealthy back home, like in somewhere, your family will send you money. Unless you have no one there. But you can contact the bank, your bank, to make a transfer, right? I mean, it's very simple nowadays. So, I don't think, I don't know. I don't believe that this case could happen nowadays. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
Donate.
So I will start with the questions of the sisters. We are always accused of ignoring our sisters. We don't do it on purpose, wallahi. But can I use my zakat money to pay my father's loan debt? Yes, in this case, yes. Only if he is not able to pay the loan back. If he's able, there are some cases where the person has some savings in the bank, and he asks his wife or his mother or his daughter to help him pay his loans. No, this is not right. If you are able to pay your loans by yourself, you cannot take the zakat of your daughter or the zakat of your mother. You can't. So yes, you can use your zakat to pay your father's loan if he's not able to pay his loan by himself. Doesn't have enough money. Is it necessary to tell the person whom the money is being paid that it's from zakat? Okay, it is necessary if you know that he doesn't like to take zakat money. Here you have to tell him. You know the person doesn't like to take money, receive zakat money. But if you don't know if he likes it or if he doesn't like it, it's okay if you don't tell him it's zakat. This is a gift from me. It's okay if you don't tell him. And of course, obviously, if you know that he doesn't care, then give it to him. Whether you tell him or you don't tell him, he doesn't care, just give it to him. The problem is if you don't know. I would say you give it to him without asking. But if you know that he doesn't like it, you have to tell him. Is that clear, ya ikhwan? What if the inventory of a business owner was bought using bank loan? Is it still added or is it considered debt? You calculate the inventory, you calculate it, and then if your debt is a short-term debt, you exclude it from the total. And that's it. You deduct the value of your debt. But you need to add this inventory because the prices of this inventory could go up. So you have a disparity now between the initial loan and between the prices of your merchandise. So you calculate the value of your merchandise based on the market price, calculate your cash and you add everything, and then you deduct your loan, the value of your debt, if it is a short-term debt. Is that clear, ya ikhwan? This is from sisters, right? Huh? A brother? Okay. This question is not really relevant to zakat. However, if you can answer it, that would be great. It's not relevant to zakat. We'll leave it till the end. Is there a priority listing? Which of the categories is most important? Then which is second? Follow the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Follow this classification, this order. Wallahu ta'ala. Fuqara and masakin, those who are in need and they are poor, I think they have priority. Wallahu ta'ala. Relatives, yes, you can give your relative. Yeah, you get double reward. Your reward will be multiplied. It will be silat rahim, keeping the ties of kinship, and also you'll be rewarded for the payment of zakat. But as I said, you are not allowed to give to your parents, to your grandparents. You are not allowed to give to your children, grandchildren. You can give to your sisters, your brothers, and if they are in need. If they classify, if they go under one of these categories. If they don't go, you can't. You can't. Like if their expenses, yearly expenses are 30,000 and their income is 30,000, yes, it could be tight, but they don't classify here. Because a faqir, what is the difference between a poor and the needy faqir? The best explanation is, they said the faqir, his income covers only less of 50% of what he needs for the whole year. He needs 20,000, his income is 9,000, less than 50% of what he needs for the whole year. He needs 20%, 50% would be 10,000, so his income is only 9,000. Very simple, right? And the miskin is better than a faqir. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned both of them. Otherwise there will be no point of mentioning two different names. The miskin, his situation is better. His income covers less than 100% of what he needs, but it is more than 50% of his needs. Let's say his income is, he needs 20,000 for the whole year, his income is 12,000 or 14,000. More than 50% of what he needs. So that's al-miskin. So if you are trying to compare between the two, and you have to give it to one of them, start with the poor. Right? Start with the poor. So, any other question? تفضل أخي. They have to be Muslims, yes. Okay, sadaqah, you can give sadaqah to a non-Muslim, but not zakat. A non-Muslim, you can give him zakat here, under this category. Number 4. Sisters? Naam? The practice of Rasulullah ﷺ and the Khulafa al-Rashidin. Yeah. Because his practice, his sunnah explains the Quran. It's something that is agreed upon. Yani. Yes. We'll go by row. We'll deal with the first row, then the second row, then maybe.
So you said that you can give zakat to relatives, but not parents and children
and not grandparents.
Except if they have loans that they can't pay.
Yeah, if they go under this category here. And this is not something agreed upon, but it was a fatwa made by a very good classical scholar, Shaykh Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. So it's not agreed upon, but it makes sense too, and it is adopted by many scholars.
And in that category, it's if the loan is something that they can't afford.
They cannot afford to pay it back. Yeah. And it has to be halal loan. If it is a haram loan, and they are making tawbah, trying to correct their situation, can help them in the process. Okay. The brother is saying, I need to repeat the questions for the sake of our sisters. I said, if someone has a luxury lifestyle, right? This is what you said? And he's spending a lot of money on his needs, and he's not able to save, to make any saving at the end of the year. Are they going to is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to take them to account or not for not paying zakat? Allahu a'lam. But they could be taken to account for tabdhir, for their wasteful manners. Inna Allah la yuhibbul mubadhirin. Inna al-mubadhirina kanu ikhwana shayateen. So for wasting money, let's say he goes to Mexico every year, he goes to Hawaii. I mean, it's halal. I'm not saying it's not haram to go and take your family for a vacation. Mexico, Allah, I'm not sure. But it's halal to take your family for a vacation. But if it goes beyond reasonable limits, buying extra stuff that you don't need, and I'm not sure about not paying zakat, if it is a problem or not, but obviously there is a problem of wasting money and wasting wealth. Wallahu ta'ala ala. Okay, let's go back to the brothers who are in the middle, or yes.
So you explained that we should pay 2.5% of the cash money. So is there any condition on this cash money for how long did it stay with me?
I said 1 year. Okay, this is important, yes. This is important. When we say 1 year, which is al-hawl, let's say the way you calculate it is, let's say you just started working. You got your first paycheck, which is 4,000. Now you spend 2,000, and the next month you saved another 1,000. Third month, now you have 3,500, which is, we said, the minimum amount of money, nisab. So from that month, you start counting, and then you're watching your money. You have to mark that date down. Today I had 3,500, or that specific month. If you don't remember the date, you say 15th of September, if you go by the solar calendar, for example. And then you keep watching your money. At the end of the year, you have 10,000, but your nisab did not go below the minimum amount. It kept on increasing until at the end of the year you have 10,000. Okay, now you need to pay zakat on 10,000, but how about the 1,000 you just got last month? It didn't stay with you for 1 year? The ulama, they said, yes, still it's okay to pay zakat for it. Unless if you want to have a deadline for every monthly income or every monthly saving, then you can do that. It's your right. But they said it's not practical, and I think no one is doing it. All people, they go by their yearly deadline. They will be paying zakat in advance for some money that you just got 1 month ago, 2 months ago. But that's okay, it's halal.
So maybe it's okay just to check the day I'm paying this zakat.
Yes. The date, do your calculation, 2.5 or 2.577, and that's it. Yes, brother. Brother is saying, did I repeat your question? Somehow, huh? So I need to repeat the question. Remind me if I don't repeat the question. The brother is saying you got some money, an amount of money, and you paid zakat for it, that specific year now. And then next year, do you pay zakat for that 10,000 mathalan? Next year you had 15,000. What is the difference between 10 and 15? 5,000. Do you pay zakat on only 5,000, the difference between last year and this year? Will you pay zakat on 15,000? This is a question the brother made. Yes, you pay zakat on 15,000. The whole amount that you have on that year. You don't deduct anything. Yes, brother, at the end. $2 per day. I don't know. It's up to you how you calculate it and how. Usually people don't ask these details. Usually, I don't know who's faqir. The criteria that I gave you is the best criteria. If his income for the whole year, you can divide it into 12 months, divide it into 365 days. It's up to you. But for the whole year, his income is less than 50% of what he needs. This is faqir. This is the criteria used by Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen. I think is the best that is available. Otherwise, it will be difficult to distinguish between faqir and miskin. Did you get my point? Yeah. People usually don't ask these details again, unless there are some other organization, like مثلا National Zakat Foundation. They have a 13 pages application, I think. They might ask this question. Yeah, right? Who are the brothers? Where is Adnan?
Yes.
You have these questions in the application?
Yes.
Yes. But if you are not giving to the National Zakat Foundation, will take the money, they are a wakil. On your behalf, they will give. IC takes your money, they are a wakil. But usually when you give a zakat to someone, a family member or a friend or someone in the neighborhood, you don't ask these details, but you know that his budget is tight. So you give him this zakat. This is how it works. But these organizations, like National Zakat Foundation, no, they have an application. And they have numbers, they ask maybe tax papers, and they ask for documents. Allahu Akbar. Yes, brother, at the end. You. The priority is for, this is a rule, basic rule. Priority is to fulfill the needs of the local people. The brother is... okay, the question is, yes, Jazakallah khair. The question is, how do I compare, or how can I spread the money between local people and poor people in my country? It's up to you, but the basic rule, it's up to you how to do it. The basic rule is that the needs of local people have to be fulfilled. And then if there is a need for, of course you have zakat, and you know that there is a need in Syria and Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, you send back your money to... this is the basic rule. There are some ulama, they said if the people overseas are in need, you can send it. They are in a severe situation. You can send it if you feel that most likely the needs of local people are fulfilled. Like here in Canada, for sure, that inshallah there will be enough money for the local people, but you need to pay attention. If we include the students, then you need to pay attention. We should know that there are people who are in need in this country. And the similar organizations like National Zakat Foundation, they're telling us, because there is an organization now, so people are calling. When people call, they talk about their situation. Because now we have an impression here in Canada that if someone doesn't have an income, doesn't have a job, the government is giving him welfare or EI but sometimes people are receiving welfare assistance, money from the government, but their budget is very tight. Imagine a family of 4 or 5 kids, with 4 or 5 kids, for 2,000 these days, it's nothing. Here in Calgary, for example. So my point is, there are people who are in need here, but you are allowed to send it overseas if you feel that there are people who are in need. It's both are permissible, but we, as a basic principle, we need to fulfill the needs of local people. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Yes. For the zakat, the wife zakat, she is supposed to pay her zakat unless her husband wants to help her. That's a different story. But she needs to pay her zakat unless there is an agreement between the two. As long as the zakat is paid, then there is no problem. So the question was, is she supposed, if the wife has money and she needs to pay her zakat, is her husband supposed to pay her zakat, or she is supposed to pay her zakat? The answer is clear, right? Okay, let's go back to the questions of the sisters. Can you give me some time here? Because I need to do some justice here. Now that I know I can pay my sister's debt and student loan as zakat, can I deem it zakat and not a loan? Only because I don't understand these two words, but it's up to you. Now, if you are giving her zakat to pay her loan, you don't have the right to ask for this money to be given to you back. You are not giving her a loan. You are paying from your zakat, helping her to pay her loan. So that's it. This is your zakat. You are not giving her a loan. But if you tell her, oh, I want you to give you a qard hasan, then this is not a zakat. You are giving her a loan, qard hasan, to pay her interest-based loan. So your money is not a zakat, it's qard hasan. She has to pay you back. And you have to pay your zakat to other people. Is that clear? Clear, ya ikhwan? I thought RSP was haram. Please elaborate. That's a different issue now. There are different accounts of RSPs, and there are some halal RSPs available with some financial companies in Toronto. But that's a different issue. Hopefully we'll talk about it maybe on a different occasion, inshallah. But as a basic principle, your money, your contribution is halal, your capital. And the money that comes to you from the company is halal. And the money, if there is money coming to you through from the government, I don't know if the government pays these accounts. Naam? Education, yes, is halal. So three types of money. Money, your money. That is what's deducted from your paycheck. The money coming from your company, the contribution of your company, this is halal. The money coming from the government is halal. Now the rest is profit. Profit from investments. It could be interest from saving accounts. If it is an investment account, it's profit from investment. It depends on the investment. Then we need to talk about it in detail on a different occasion, because today is zakat, is not about investment. I am an employee of a company, so based on your calculation, for example, I have 8,000 in hand. I don't give out any loans. I don't have any shares, but I pay mortgage of 1,700 a month. So based on this, I subtract 20,400 from my cash in hand. I'm not paying zakat. Well, basically this is the decision, yes, of the Muslim Fiqh Council. Not the Muslim Fiqh Council. The second symposium of zakat took place in Kuwait, 1989 or 1985. Second symposium of zakat, Nadwa Thaniya Zakat. They said, yes, you can deduct your yearly payments. Your payments, mortgage payments or monthly payments for the whole year, you can deduct it, yes. And you don't have to pay zakat based on their decision. Wallahu ta'ala alam. If you want to give zakat to your father to pay debt off, what do you mean by if he can pay it? Of course, if he can pay it, it's simple. He has money. Savings in account, and he tells you, hey, my daughter, give me your zakat. Doesn't work. He has money. He can pay his loan by himself. So he cannot take your zakat. Your zakat, you have to give it to someone else. You don't give it to your father. Because he has money in the account, and he can pay his loan by himself. What if he has no savings? Oh, it's clear. If he has no savings, that means he's not able to pay his loan. Then you help him with your zakat. Ya ikhwan, this is obvious. Can zakat be paid in different countries through bank, and the amount is kept in the bank and paid monthly to the receiver who is in the village? Zakat cannot be delayed. The payment of zakat cannot be delayed. But I don't know about this. Maybe I need more information about this arrangement. If you can give me more information, send me an email if you want. If you don't want to talk now, or write another question. But zakat as a basic principle, zakat payment cannot be delayed. It has to be given to the poor and the needy. There is one case. I know one case where it can be delayed. If there is a guardian who is receiving the zakat on behalf of the minors under his guardianship, or insane people under his guardianship, he received 5,000 as a zakat money to spend on these children, then he cannot, they are children, he cannot just give them 5,000, here you go, take it. Or a mentally ill person, they will just waste this 5,000, so he's allowed to keep it as a guardian in his account and give them, spend this money on them on a regular basis. Wallahu ta'ala alam. This is the case I know, that money, zakat, can be delayed and not be given to the poor, to those in need immediately. In this case, this is an exception. This bank, I'm not sure about it. I need more information about it. Does zakat have to be in money, or can we buy clothes, blankets? So it has to be in money if you have cash and you have inventory, paying any cash, your RSP account and all these things. If you feel you are supposed to give it them in money because they are free, they will be free, they deal with it the way they think it's better for them. But if you are dealing with minors or people who don't know their own benefit, and you feel that it's better to buy clothes for them, to buy some books for them, to buy some other equipment or other things they need, and you are a guardian or you are someone who is close to them, and you are familiar with their needs, then you can do it in this case. Otherwise, you have to give them their money. Does having students' loan and other loans affect your zakat calculation? As I said, it affects your zakat calculation if you are making the payment on that year. If you are making payments, loan payments throughout the year, every month you are paying the government $200. You calculate $200 multiplied by 12, how much? 2,400, you exclude it from your calculation. But if it is a long-term loan, you don't deduct it. You don't deduct the whole amount. You deduct the money that you'll be paying that specific year from your calculation. Is that clear?
Yes.
Is a father obliged to support his son even if he is a grown-up and married? If he is a grown-up and he's able, it depends. There are two cases. If he is lazy, he doesn't want to work, he's addicted to Facebook, and he wants to, these problems are there. I know a woman who asked for divorce. She said, either Facebook or me. You have to choose between the two. Because the guy left his business, left his that side, and he kept spending like hours and hours in front of his computer. Facebook addiction. So in this case, of course you have to encourage him to go and look for work. Be a man. Apply for a job and look for work. Don't support him. Let him deal with it. But if he lost his job, and he's educated, and he has the qualification, and he's a responsible individual, but he didn't find a job. Job market is very bad. And he's not able to pay his rent. Then of course you need to support him. If you have the ability to support your son. It depends on the situation. You know your son. So in this case, yes, you need to support him. Second question, if not, and the son is poor, can the father give him zakat? No. You cannot, as a father, give zakat to your son. You have to support him. As I said, with this condition, that he's not lazy, he's not He's responsible, he didn't find a job, he's doing his best, but he couldn't. If you donate zakat online and get a charitable tax receipt, you get some of your taxes back at the end of the year. How does this affect zakat? It doesn't affect your zakat. You can claim your zakat. Claim it. It doesn't affect your zakat. Because the government will charge you based on your income, pure income. Your zakat payment will be excluded from your whole income. So the government will charge you taxes based. Actually, if you are an employee, they will take it on a monthly basis from your income. So you pay zakat for whatever is left with you. So don't worry about it. You can claim if you give a zakat as a donation, you can claim it. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Because this will reduce your income, net income, and the government will charge you taxes on that income. Wallahu ta'ala. Do you factor it in? What do you mean factor it? Yani calculated it? How do you calculate and you pay zakat? The tax refund, if you get a refund, yes, you add it to your savings. And you pay zakat at the end of the year, next deadline. You add it to your saving. Any cash you receive, you add it to your saving. And you pay your zakat on the deadline. Do I have to pay zakat on my money that I have saved over 5 years? That means every year I have to pay on that over and over. Now, if someone, this is my understanding to this question. My understanding to this question that she was or he was supposed to pay zakat every year. But they neglected the payment of zakat for 5 years. Then they have to go and do the calculation for 5 years. If they don't know exactly how much they were supposed to pay, they have to estimate until they feel comfortable that this is the amount they were supposed to pay. Like say in the first year, the estimation was $400. Second year, the estimation was $300. Third year, the estimation $200. And then he should add all this money together and then pay it as a zakat and make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we are supposed to pay zakat on a yearly basis. On a yearly basis, ya akhwan. It is a major obligation. If relative does not have any income, sister-in-law, zakat can be given, yes. Sister-in-law, yes. Is zakat given to build mosque in Canada? I explained this when I talked about fi sabilillah. You can give zakat for the purpose of building a masjid in Canada or USA or in the West in general. Because we don't have a Muslim government that is supporting masajid and fi sabilillah. Sorry, did I miss paying on one's gold if held in back? One's gold. If you mean jewelry, you don't pay zakat on the jewelry that you use. Every woman has jewelry, right? And then if you have a small amount of jewelry that you are using throughout the year, you don't pay zakat for it. You have a big amount of jewelry. You are accumulating a big amount of jewelry. You are not using it. But you are saving it in case you buy a house or you're selling it. You have to pay zakat on it. You might exclude the small amount of jewelry that you are using and you pay the zakat on the rest. That was your question? I mean, if the person who receives this gold is a man, is a male, let me reword my statement, is a male. A male is not supposed to use gold and silver. Silver you can use it, but gold, it's haram for us to use gold. So definitely you have to pay zakat. If it is a piece of jewelry and the woman is using it, she doesn't have to pay zakat. But if it is an item of sale, you got it and you have the intention to sell it again, then you have to pay zakat on it. I am a single female and I have more than the nisab amount and I live with my family. Would I pay the zakat or would my father pay the zakat? It's up to you. You are supposed to pay your zakat, but if your father says, Fatima, you don't have to pay your zakat this year, I'll pay it on your behalf. Make sure that he pays it and that's it. As long as the zakat is paid, that's fine. So if he volunteers to pay it on your behalf, that's fine. But you are supposed to take care of that, which means it is your individual responsibility that you take care of your zakat. You don't expect your father to be paying the zakat and just ignore it and don't talk about it and hope that your father is paying on your behalf and just keep quiet about it. You cannot do that.
About gold, is it applicable for only Canada in every country?
The sum of gold, which is 85 grams of gold, the nisab, yeah, it's every country because it is from the time of Rasulullah ﷺ, 20 dinars. Every dinar, the weight of every dinar is 4.25 grams. So it is in every country.
Some developing countries, $440 is big money.
440
Canadian dollar is nisab of silver. It is big money in some countries.
Yeah, they can go with silver, yeah, if they want. Yani they have the option to go with the silver nisab, to calculate their nisab, because the brother is saying $440 in some poor countries is a big amount of money. If it is a big amount of money in some countries, and they wish to use the silver nisab, they can do that. Yeah. But for Canada, in Canada, I am confident that $440 is, it's not. Yes, brother Abdul Majid. I got your point. The brother is saying he collects his zakat every year, and the zakat of his family members. He puts it aside until he travels back home, and he goes to some areas where poor people live there, and he buys food with a less price, right? It's more beneficial. Yani he gets deals from some local companies, and then it's more beneficial to the poor because you'll get a bigger amount of food. Okay? Now the ulama, they said that it's okay to delay the payment of the zakat. Some of them mentioned 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Some of them mentioned 1 month or 2, if there is a valid reason. Yani you are not able to reach those who are in need, number one, or there is a maslaha, because in your case you are able to reach them. You can send this money through Western Union or a bank transfer, if you want to transfer it back home. But there is a maslaha, another maslaha. This money that you're keeping with you, you'll be buying with it a bigger quantity of food, which is more beneficial. So hopefully there is a maslaha here for the poor, and it's okay. And it's only how many couple of months? I'm hoping. This is what I'm using. The term is very important. Hoping that inshallah should be fine. There is a maslaha for the poor. Yes, the brother, he said, I'm going to repeat the question. He said, how about if it is a good loan, I gave a good loan to someone, and I know he will pay me back, but this money is locked in a fixed asset, not cash. Does it make a difference? Good loan, add it. Bad loan, ignore it. Yeah, the brother is saying, what happens if you go below the nisab after 4 months or 5 months? Are you going to cancel the calculation? Then you start again, you wait until again you get your nisab again, and you start calculating for a new year? You have 2 options. You have the right to cancel everything and wait until you get a nisab again, and then you start calculating from first day will be the new nisab, the second nisab. Because your money, which reached 4,000 nisab after 2 months, it went to 1,000. So now you have no nisab. Cancel everything, ignore the first date, and then wait until you get the nisab. You have the other option, but this is optional. Ignore this fluctuation. And then at the end of the year, from the first date, you have 10,000, pay. But this is optional. Yeah, if you have a land, it depends on your intention. You bought a land to build a house on it. You don't pay zakat on it. You bought a land and you are a farmer. You're going to cultivate this land. You don't pay zakat on the land. Pay zakat on the crops. 10%, not 2.5. But not every year 10%. 10%. Actually, usually these days is 5%, not 10%. If there are expenses in the process of farming and cultivation, 5%. There is no expenses. It's just rain. Your land benefited from rain, which is in the old days. There is no expenses at all. Then you pay 10% of the crops if they reach 610 kilograms. Grains or fruit, not vegetables. And I don't know why there is no zakat on vegetables. There could be some hikmah, some wisdom, I don't know it. I didn't find it. But on grains, maybe they are stable food, fruits. Huh?
The vegetables are perishable.
Maybe that could be the reason. Grains and fruit. So if they reach the amount of 610 kilograms, and you are a farmer, you pay zakat on this on the harvest, 5%, not 2.5.
On the grains and fruit, or grains or vegetables?
Not vegetables. Grains and fruit, not vegetables. And if you bought the land with the purpose of what? Waiting for the price, or you put it again in the market to sell it again. You sell it again. You are a businessman. You buy and sell lands. Then you have to use it, pay zakat for it, the value, 2.5%. It is عرض من عروض التجارة. It's an item for sale. So you add it to the inventory. You are a businessman, and land is for sale. You are buying land to sell it again, to make money, make a profit. You add it to your inventory. So 3 types of lands. Right? Do you remember any case, another case?
Maybe you want to build a house on it.
Build a house on it, you don't pay zakat on it. You don't pay zakat on it if you are a farmer, you're using it for agriculture. You don't pay zakat on the land, you pay zakat on the harvest, the crops, right? If you buy the land for the purpose of just owning the land, with no niyyah whatsoever to sell it again, or just you want to keep the land, you don't pay zakat on it.
Same thing applies to a
House, your own house, you don't pay zakat for your own house. If you have condos, you are renting them, you don't pay zakat for the value of the condo. You pay zakat on the rent. You add the rental fees, you add them to your savings. And that's it. Yeah. Any capital, any productive capital asset, you don't pay zakat on it. You pay zakat on the income. Any capital, productive capital asset, like a machine. You don't pay zakat on the machine. Pay zakat on the products that you get from this machine. House, the income that you get from this house, and so on. We said 4:30. Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu fikum. Subhanakallahumma wa hamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.